Go
Chelsea,
Arsenal.
Chelsea.
Right.
Chelsea.
David trying
Chelsea.
to
Talk
avoid
about,
Chelsea.
what about
Let's speak about the club that's supposed. No. Let's speak about a club that's supposed to do something this season because
That's
far
what I'm
too
saying.
often.
Let's go with
Far
the team.
too
So
often-
let's talk Arsenal then. So let's talk Arsenal. That's fine. Interesting rumor that's come out this afternoon that we know that they've been looking at Moreno. We know they've been looking at a number of players, but a big report has come out from some credible sources that Arsenal are now in for Fabian Ruiz as a potential new midfield player this summer. Giuseppe, if this rumor was to be true, how would you see? I mean, the rumor states that it's on, and you've had conversations with PSG about a loan move, or maybe with an obligation to buy. How would you feel about signing, one of the players of the Euros in Fabian Ruiz?
Yeah, I'd be happy with that signing, man. Quality signing for me. I think he adds what we need, something we need in the team. He adds depth into the team as well. I would personally sign him and Moreno. I'd sign them both. I think it'd be quality to get them both in. And if you're getting him on a loan, and then you're getting Moreno for 30 million, then or 25, 30 million, you're spending basically 30 million this summer, and you bought in two midfielders. That's quality. And then our midfield's starting to look a bit more stacked. I think he's quality, man. I thought, do you know what? I'd say out of every player in the Euros, and I'm not saying it just because we're linked to him now, he was the one who surprised me more than anyone. I didn't really know. I didn't really think he was as good as he looked in that Euros. I'll be honest. When I was watching him, I was like, "Damn, this guy's good, man." I know he was decent at Napoli, but I feel like that PSG curse kicked in. Whenever someone goes PSG, they seem to just I don't know. They just seem to lose stock, in my opinion. The same's happened with Ugarte. I think he's a good player, but because he's been at PSG, it's like his stocks have fallen in the views of fans and that. But I think he's quality, man. I think he'll be and we need that experience in our team. It's one thing our team's been lacking. And if you're bringing him as well, and Moreno, you're bringing in two midfielders who've literally just won something. And I know people might think, it don't matter, that was with Spain. But I think that means something. Definitely for Arsenal trying to win something. Bringing two guys in that's just been in a tournament and won it, to bring that in for Champions League games and FA Cup games and stuff as well as the league. Yeah, I think he's quality, and I'll be happy with it personally.
Do you think Rice will play in the 6 if Ruiz comes in?
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with Rice this season. I think he will play the 6 because both guys that we've been linked with are the 8. But then we've got Partey, and he's staying. So I feel like
he's staying.
He ain't playing, bro.
Listen, if Partey stays fit, Partey's still one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. If he stays when he's fully fit.
Still talking about that.
When is he fit though? That's the thing. Giuseppe, come on. When is he
Bro,
actually fit?
last season
that's
he had
the problem.
No, hold on. The season before last one, he played over 34 games for Arsenal.
But I swear he played like 5.
That's the first time he played a full season.
Yeah, cool.
And wait, did Arsenal fans not complain that the games he missed were all the biggest games? He was hiding, weren't he?
No, when? When did that happen? That's lies, bro.
No, that is exactly what happened. He missed all the big games.
He's only got a year left on his contract. Would it not make sense?
Yeah, listen, he ain't gonna get. Listen, at the end of the day, unless we get a decent deal for him, he might as well. We ain't gonna get a decent offer for him. He wants to stay. Keep him. Listen, if we got to get 20 million, I'd rather risk keeping him and having him fully fit. Because I'm telling you, if he's fully fit all season, he's quality. And I know it's an if, buts, and maybes, but that's like anything. You want to sign Pedro Neto, and you don't know if he's going to be fit full season, but you've got to take that
gamble for us as well. He only averages 21 games a season.
But if you get him and he's fit, then he's quality, and that's the same with Partey. So I don't know what we're going to do with our midfield. We've got a lot of options, but Ruiz can play anywhere in the midfield. I think, really.
To be fair,
I don't think he plays the 6, and I don't think Mourinho's a 6 either.
Is Partey, Ruiz, and Odegaard an upgrade? I'm just saying, after that Euros tournament, there is one person in our Arsenal team I'm looking at heavily, and it's Declan. Because that brother there, he dropped some bad games. Because the thing is, when you watch Arsenal, you don't really focus on the player. You're just watching, going yeah, they're just gonna win. Now after that tournament, there are players I'm now looking at because the narrative is this Declan Rice guy is unbelievable. He's elite. I didn't see that when I was watching him. So now,
last season for Arsenal, he was. Last season for Arsenal, David, he was elite. He was the best. He was one of, if not the best player for Arsenal Football Club last season. Probably bar Odegaard, and maybe if you want to count Saliba or Gabriel, he was the best player in the team, bruv. Like, I'll be honest, that you can't, I can't hear this slander from England when I watched people like Phil Foden and Jude Bellingham stink up the place.
But I've got the same thing with Philip as well. That Philip Walter brother, I'm looking at him now because he didn't perform once. He did not perform. But I'm looking. If I get on Philip Walter, he was.
But I don't feel like you can hold it against him, David, because like Giuseppe just said, man, Rice and Foden were probably for me 2 of the best players in the league last season. So for them to have bad tournaments, you could also blame it on burnout. Let's be honest, they were both the players that were there full season round.
My response is Cole Palmer. That's all I've got to say. That's my response.
But David, it does help. It does help for Declan Rice when he has someone like Martin Odegaard next to him. Like it does help a lot. If you got someone that is still comfortable on the ball like him.
I'm not saying he ain't good. I'm just saying I've got an eye on him now.
You're putting him on fraud watch.
I'm putting him a little bit on fraud.
I feel like that's a stretch.
Bro. No, Terry. You were at home. You didn't see how hot I was getting in those fan zones. Watching this guy not even look forward, just backwards.
No, I understand that. I do understand it, but I think out of all the Arsenal players, you're looking at a man that was phenomenal for 3 or 4 seasons on the bounce for West Ham, phenomenal last season for Arsenal. Yes, he didn't have the best of Euros, but that's like saying, do you know what? Mbappe's on fraud watch. Do you know what? Because for the first time ever, he went to a tournament and didn't perform, and now it's crazy. I don't think you can do that with him. Fabian Ruiz, George. Obviously, you've said earlier, like Arsenal have got to deliver this year. You've seen them linked to Moreno. You've seen them now linked to Fabian Ruiz. They seem to be, again, they've come from journalists who have some skin in the game and some credibility. Are they the types of signings they need to go that one step further, in your opinion? Obviously, Calafiori has come in, or Giuseppe, if you look at those young pictures of the two of them. Do you think Arsenal are doing the right kind of business thus far?
Yeah, no, to be honest, I like the names of those players. Fabian Ruiz, one that I've really watched. I've seen him since Napoli, and I think he's a really good player. I think if he comes into the fold under Arteta, I think he didn't work out at PSG, but it's just under the system with Luis Enrique. Just didn't really fancy him. So I feel like in the Arsenal system, he could be a player that could be effective.
Daddy, can we have a snack?
Yeah, give me a second. But yeah, no. To be honest, I can't really sit here and hate on Arsenal on that fact, because Calafiori and Fabian Ruiz, they're 2 top players. They're players that are coming in from different leagues, but they were performing over there at top clubs. Fabian Ruiz, maybe not over in Liga 1, but in Serie A, he was one of the best players over there. So 40-50 million pounds, they're looking like they want to improve their team. But let's be honest here, man. We all know there's a gaping gap in that team. And I know they got the goals last season, but Kai Havertz, I don't think he's going to be able to do it again. Arsenal need a striker. And I know you said about Gyökeres, that's a player that you would like and someone that you should be interested in. But right now, I haven't really seen the links for Arsenal to go out there and get a striker. And if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be worried, because that is the one thing you need. You guys last season were very blessed that none of your top players got injured, but you can't, let's be real, you have to prepare for that. Top players get injured every season, and next season might be Arsenal's one. Every team it happened to last year. We all had top players out, and I think next season Arsenal might be cursed. Maybe not fully, but a few players are going to catch up to them. Saka being one of them. So you need to sign those replacements for the top players that you have, because on the bench last season, Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah, they're poor backups. When you guys needed them, they weren't there. So something needs to happen.
The reason I'm not worried about the striker yet is because there's been quite a few sources that have come out and said that Arsenal are waiting for Eddie Nketiah to be sold for us to then go and buy another striker. And I don't believe we'd sell Eddie Nketiah and not bring in another striker to replace him. So that for me is why I'm not panicking yet. I think we get Gyökeres once. I generally believe Arsenal will sign Gyökeres this summer. I'm putting my stocks in it from now. If we don't get him and we don't get anyone, then it is what it is. I'll have to hold the brunt of it. But I think we do get someone. And the injury thing, I hear it, but we did have loads of injuries last year. We had bad injuries last year that people don't really want to ever talk about. They don't want to talk about the fact that we didn't have Thomas Partey all season after losing Xhaka in the summer. No. Yeah, you don't want to talk about. Bro, how can you not talk about him when he'd be the best midfielder at your club, Rams?
You're talking to Liverpool about injuries. No.
Yeah, I'm not saying we had loads, but I'm saying we had 2. We signed Yuri and Timber, Yeah, and he ended up getting injured for the whole season. That's a bad one because at the end of the day, I know he hasn't got proof in the pudding yet in the Premier League, but we brought him in and it looked like he was going to be left back for us last season. And then the one weak position of Arsenal's team last season, if you had to pick one position, everyone's picking left back. Every single one person at Arsenal and fans, even rivals that watch Arsenal, say, where would you target if you were playing Arsenal? Everyone would say left back. So we did have some bad injuries. So it's not like we didn't have no injuries. That's what I'm trying to say. And we had Jesus out quite a bit. We did have injuries. Obviously, I agree with George. We've got to be bringing in better players than Nelson and Eddie Nketiah. That is a fact for me because them man ain't good enough. I want them gone. I'm pissed that they're still here, to be honest. I know that I've had enough of the love of them being Arsenal youngsters and that enough is enough. But I think once Eddie Nketiah goes, that's when we sign a replacement striker. I think
all three are going, which means you can go and drop big money because it'll be three players leaving that are all academy graduates. They're all 100% profit. Even if Nelson, what is it, loan with an obligation to buy?
Yeah.
Like Victor Gyökeres is there waiting, but that £84 million release clause, that's a bit steep. It is a bit steep.
It's euros as well.
75 million pound. I think as great as Gyökeres would be, you still need depth because if Saka gets an injury, it's curtains. Like on that right hand side for me. Like on the left hand side, you got Martinelli and Trossard, you got Havertz and Jesus, plus Gyökeres who can play down the middle. Your midfield is pretty stacked now, especially with Fabian Ruiz.
Vieira, yeah.
You could shift Erdegaard onto the right wing if you really want it, if you're getting desperate.
And I know a lot of people might not want to. We can't all like you guys might not know this, but we've got a young boy goes by the name of Namweri. Yeah, and I'm telling you,
last night.
My God,
this season is going to be a bit of a breakout for him. He's not going to be a main guy, but he's someone who can state a case of being an option for us. We still need a right. I'd still go and buy Neto personally. I kind of would be
£45 million apparently.
Yeah, I think that would be. I think we will
55 million
more than you guys at Spurs. I think we can take that risk on him with the injuries side of things. I think we're in a better place to take the risk on the injury side. So I would fully go and do that, and then you can have a Namweri. But I for me,
I've heard that name for the past 5 months from Matt. I am sick and tired of hearing that name. I don't know who this kid is. He might be talented, but I don't know if he's good enough for the starting 11 yet. I'm asking a lot from a youngster to come in.
I swear down, he's actually 5'3". Like I think he's actually a small human. You can't.
Sorry, tall man.
No, but you can't play the Premier.
To be fair, David is an actual foot taller than him.
No,
David
I swear he's 5'3". I actually swear down, bro. You can't play in a Prem midfield and be 5'3". That can't happen. It just won't. It won't.
By the way, there's nothing wrong with being 5'3".
By the way, Santi Cazorla was one of the best midfielders in the Premier League, mate.
How tall is Kante? Just like out of interest. 5'6".
Yeah.
He ain't 5'3", is he? Surely he's
I
not.
swear down, he's a small man. I might be bugging, but I think he's actually.
I'm gonna Google his height now.
Human.
He's
1 meter,
David, he's 17, bro.
1.65 m. What is that in feet? I don't know.
That is about 5'3", 5'4", 100%.
5'4". 5'4"
That's
he
a
is.
small human.
He's 17, man. He could have a growth spurt.
Yeah, let him grow, man. Let him get his growth spurt. Let him, let him eat.
How they say?
Come on, 5'3".